A big thank you to all of our CU fans and alumni who have joined the CU Alumni Club this year. It's just been incredible to have so many of you join us for our pregame events. We know that you have tremendous passion for our program, tremendous knowledge about the game of basketball. And until we can see you in person again, we've loved having you join us in this way. We got Utah coming up. We all know that's a really big game. We've got a great scouting report. Our team is ready, and we're excited that you'll be joining us.
So thank you for joining us for our final women's basketball virtual pregame of the regular season. We're planning some additional events to celebrate postseason play that Kimberly will share at the end of our program today. And we hope to see all of you join us to support both the women's and the men's teams in the next couple of weeks as they go into the Pac-12 tournament. We are excited to cheer on our Buffs. We have a fun program planned for you this hour, and some very, very special guests have joined us today, and they'll be answering your questions throughout the morning. Please feel free to use the function to interact with the guests, or you may share your question at any point throughout the program in the chat function. A little bit more information about this event before we kick things off. This pregame is a partnership between the CU Boulder Alumni Association, the Alumni C Club, and CU Athletics. We have been hosting these pregames throughout the season to support both our women's and men's basketball programs, and we have been joined by some incredible guest speakers over the course of the season. We hope for our repeat folks, you have enjoyed the show. My name is Julianne Andreessen, and I am the Senior Director of Events and Outreach at the Alumni Association. I am joined by my colleagues, Pam Dados, the Senior Athletic Manager, and Kimberly Orr from the Alumni C Club. You'll hear from both Pam and Kimberly throughout the morning, and they have collaborated closely this basketball season to plan these events and organize our letter winner guests. So thank you to both of you, Kimberly and Pam. I'm really excited now to turn things over to Kimberly Orr. Kimberly is currently the Executive Director of the Alumni C Club. She is an alumna of the Leeds School of Business and earned her degree in marketing. She has been an incredible partner with the Alumni Association this year, partnering with us on most of our virtual events supporting CU athletics. Kimberly is also a longtime and cherished volunteer for the Alumni Association, volunteering extensively with both our chapter and clubs programs, as well as on our board of advisors. We are so thankful for your longtime partnership and support in pulling all of these events together for us, Kimberly, and I'll turn it over to you. Take it away, Kimberly.
Thank you, Julianne, and thank you, Pam. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I never like to pick favorites. You always get in trouble when you pick favorites, right? But this might be my favorite day because in this audience, there are 4 Hall of Famers from Colorado women's basketball. We're going to get to that in a moment. First, we would like to welcome our guests, Jamillah Lang and Bridget Turner, both Hall of Famers, both superstars for women's basketball, and we're so thrilled to have you here. I want to acknowledge so many of our long-time season ticket holders and fans of Colorado women's basketball, and everyone's favorite scorekeeper, Tom Smith, is in the audience too. So welcome back, Tom. We're happy to see you. You might also notice that we have 2 other Hall of Famers here in the room. We have our beloved Shelley Sheetz in the room, who was a guest a few weeks ago. Thanks for joining us, Shelley. We love seeing you and having you talk basketball with us. And everyone's absolute favorite coach, multi-coach of the year, former senior women's administrator, retired CU Athletics, longtime employee, Ceal Barry, came out of retirement to sit with us this morning. So thank you, Ceal, and welcome. We're so excited to have you.
God, it's great to be here.
Oh, well, I'm very excited to properly introduce our 2 guests, and then we're going to get right to talking with them. Jamillah Lang, 4-time letter winner in CU women's basketball from 1990 to 1994. She was the 1993-94 Big 8 Conference Player of the Year, setting Colorado's standard for scoring averages in a season of 19.2 points per game. Holy buckets. A first-time all Big 8 selection, her 615 points in 1993-4 are the fourth most in a single season in team history. During that final season, she shot 43% from the field and also pulled down 7 rebounds per game. She helped Colorado to 3 NC2A tournaments, including the program's first Elite 8, I can almost read this morning, appearance in 1993. She led Colorado in scoring as a sophomore. She is a member of the back-to-back regular season Big 8 championship teams in 1993 and 1994. And she was also called upon for 3 straight Big 8 all-tournament squads in 1992, 3, and 4. She was third on Colorado's all-time scoring list when her career ended at CU and maintains 9th in career scoring, also reaching Colorado's top 10 in field goals. She was a 9th round ABL draft pick with the San Jose Lasers, and she also played professionally in Sweden. So with that, welcome, Jamila. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to ask you to update us and tell us a little bit about what you're doing now. Where are you living? What are you doing? And then we're going to get on and introduce Bridget.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to see my coaches and my teammate and my idol, Bridget Turner. It's so awesome to be here. So I appreciate that. What I'm doing now is I work for the city and county of Adams County. I worked in a detained facility for the Division of Youth Services Center, and I am a program manager. So I am providing all a structured program for a lot of high-profile, high-risk kids. We don't really have a youth prison system in the state of Colorado, so that's kind of what our systems are here in the state of Colorado.
Jamila, you're doing important work, and thank you what you're doing to help our youth. I'd like to introduce now Bridget Turner. Bridget was the 1989 Big 8 Player of the Year. She led CU to 2 NC2A tournaments in 88 and 89. She was CU's all-time leader in assists with 617 assists. From her 4-year record was 83 and 38 playing for CU in 1985 to 89. She is one of the top prep products from the state of Colorado and had a sensational 4 years at CU. She is still CU's 6th all-time leading scorer with 1,599 points and remains CU's all-time leader in assists with 617. She is second in free throws, and she was part of the 2-time NC2A tournament appearances in 1988 and 89. She was tabbed the Big 8 Player of the Year as a senior and was an all-district honorable mention. All-American selection by Women's Basketball Coaches Association. And she is, I love this. She went on to play briefly with the Harlem Globetrotters. How cool is that? She was also a member of the WNBA's Houston Hornets development team. And she is somebody that I really had fun talking to, because when I invited her to be with us today and I invited Jamila said, this is the one that I looked up to. So when we organized this call, I thought, how cool is it to have both of them here today? So Bridget, welcome. You're a 4-year letterwoman from 1985 to 1989. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing today and where you are.
Well, thank you for having me, first of all. And Jamila, I didn't know I was your idol, but that touches my heart. So I'm glad I influenced somebody. Coach Barry, always good to see you. What I'm doing now, I work for the University of Colorado, UCH in Aurora, and I am the behavioral health specialist, where I work in the emergency room, dealing with all types of patients with mental illness. My expertise is I do a lot of de-escalation in the hospital, which enables the doctors and the nurses to be able to take care of the patients. So during this pandemic, we have seen a lot of depression, suicide, alcohol, the depression. So it's been a fulfilling job, but very difficult, but I truly enjoy it.
You're doing some important work as well. And thank you for everyone you've been helping throughout the pandemic. And we've all heard those stories, and it's very healing to know that you're there with the people who need help the most. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say a couple things about Coach Barry. We all know that she appeared in 12 NC2A tournaments, 6 Sweet 16s, 3 Elite 8s. She was the 4-time Big 8 Coach of the Year, and she was inducted into the CU Hall of Fame in 2010. I mentioned that we have a bunch of Hall of Famers on this call right now, including Shelley Sheetz. So Jamilah was inducted in 2017. Bridget was inducted in 2010. And I want to point out that of the 8 women from women's basketball who have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, 50% of them are on this call right now. So I think that's pretty cool. And thank you to all of you for joining us. I'd like to ask each of you a couple questions. And I will start with you, Jamilah. Do you have a favorite memory of playing at CU?
Man, I've been thinking about that question, and it's so many things that I take away from CU. I mean, Coach Barry, I think probably one of my fondest memories is when she brought Martina Navratilova to one of our games to talk to us for pregame. We had no idea this woman was coming. I don't even know how much Coach Barry knew about her and my history around tennis. I used to play professional tennis, and I idolized this woman, and I watched her all the time. And for her to walk in our room when we were doing pregame, I was shocked. It was the most amazing thing. And that's kind of some of the things that Coach Barry did a lot. She brought a lot of professionals in. She brought personality coaches and life coaches and anybody that can help us blend and mend as a team. And that's really probably the number one thing that I got out of it throughout my career and in my adult life. Just being a team player and, teaching people how to, model certain behaviors. And that's what I do now in my program. I bring in a lot of famous people. That was pre-COVID. Hopefully we'll be able to do it after COVID. But I would bring in a lot of people that were from diverse communities for my kids so that they can, have some hope and maybe that's something that's going to get them where they want to be at. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that Bridget. Most out of being out of CU is just always bringing in professionals, always bringing in people that can really support and help us.
Oh, that's okay. Okay.
That's, to be in that room, holy cow. What a great job, Coach. That's very cool. What a great memory. And Bridget, I will turn to you with the same question. Do you have a favorite memory of playing at CU?
I have quite a few. I think, the main memory is definitely playing in front of that sellout crowd at CU Event Center against UNLV. I also remember beating Louisiana Tech at home. Mm-hmm. They were ranked second in the country that year. And then just sweeping the Big 8, not losing that year. So those are the fond memories that would always stick with me.
Those championship moments. It's the things that chill bumps are made for. So Jamilah, back to you. What is your favorite teammate story?
Oh God! Oh man!
That you're allowed to share.
Story? Okay, I'll share a good one, not a bad one. We had lots of crazy times, man.
PG, keep it PG.
One of the things. Oh man, pressure. I think one of probably one of the biggest memories I have, and it comes back to being a team player, is we had this big, tall center, Just a Wit, who was really challenging, getting up and down the court on sprints, and she would make us do extras, and we would be so mad. But all of us supported her. Every time we had suicides, everybody would run extra with her. Everybody would push her, and we always pushed our teammates to the max, no matter how tired we were or how frustrated we were. That was one of the things that I remember the most out of my teammates, is that even, they pushed me hard, I pushed them hard, and it didn't matter what level of playing you played or anything like that. It was just a matter of being a teammate, and that's one of the most cherished memories I have at CU. Hey, Shelley.
This has to be my favorite question every time we do one of these events, because listening to y'all talk about that bond that you have on and off the court is really heartwarming. Bridget, we're going to toss to you with the same question. What is your favorite teammate story?
I see Coach Barry laughing over there. I have quite a few. One of my favorite is when I didn't think I was going to CU for a two-sport. Coach Barry had us on the track where literally the school thought we were the track team. I didn't know what a 100, a 200, or 400 was until I got up to CU. They thought we were the track team. We were on the track, I tell you, more than we were on the court. So that was my fondest memory. Also, we also ran flat irons, and one of the teammates, Roz, we had our finish. Everybody got to the finish line running up this mountain, but we were all like, "Where's Roz?" And we had to all jump in the van and go find her. And she was still running. She didn't know where she was running, but we ended up finding her. And that was totally funny. And then my favorite is when Coach Barry, this is a coach player member. As you know, I grew up loving to watch Magic Johnson. So that was kind of what I patterned my game after. My goal was definitely to assist the ball, give it to my players. And in practice, Coach Barry, I made a behind the back between the leg, and I think I kind of threw it up behind, and the shot went in. Coach Barry grabbed the ball. She said, "I am so tired of all this." And she try to do my moves, and she flipped it up, and it went in. And it got quiet because we needed to make sure she was going to laugh first. She started laughing. We all fell out, cracking up. And I looked at Coach Barry and I said, "See, it works." So that was my favorite.
Okay, that's rich. As you were talking, I was imagining that in my mind. And I don't know. I think, Ceal, it's only fair that, they're telling stories about you. I wonder if you would like to have a favorite memory. And Shelley, I'm coming to you next, so you can get ready.
Well, I think I'm a lot like Jamila and Bridget. First of all, I do want to say about these two, I am so proud, and I see Shelley there too, but I am so proud what you got, the people that you've become, those women that you've become, and the leaders in your communities that you become. I think as a coach, you look at those 4 years and the baskets that you made and the assists and the rebounds, but the people that you've become 25 years later, that's I gotta say, I'm so proud of both of you guys, and Shelley down there at DU. I have a lot of fond memories of both these players, and I think for when Bridget played, we had just built the program, and one of my favorite memories was double overtime win over Oklahoma State in Salina to keep our win streak alive. I think we broke some records, and we went back to the Holodome, and everybody jumped in the pool, and we were up all night. And that was one of my favorite memories with that team. Great. That team really was bonded close together. And I think Jamila, I think our trips back to Kansas City, we were in the Big 8 then, and we played Missouri and Kansas City, and you kept saying, "When are we going to go get barbecue?" And because Jamila's from KC, and I said, "Okay, Jay, next time we go to Kansas City, we're going down to get, was it Yates barbecue?
Gates barbecue.
Gates barbecue. So we took the whole team, and Jamila told us where to go. And those are some of the fun things that you did, and all the charades games that we played in the Holodomes the night before the game to loosen us up. Fun times.
Great. So there's acting skills in women's basketball as well. Good to know, Coach. Shelley, would you like to share a favorite memory with some of these fabulous Hall of Famers that you're looking at here on the screen?
Too many. I want to say hello to the fans. Jay, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Coach Barry, always a pleasure. Bridget, let me tell you something. Jay, you already said it, but girl, you were my idol.
Oh my God.
we came into the CU program. We heard about you, and you were part of laying that enormous foundation for us coming in after to keep building the CU program. So I am very honored to be on this Zoom with you, to see you. So I want to say thank you so much for all you did.
Well, that's humbling. I tell you, thank you, Shelley.
But fond memories, I mean, you could go on and on and on. I mean, there were so many, not just from all the wins that we had, behind the scenes. You know, it's this crew, you know, your teammates, the coaching staff, so many memories that we could talk about. And the behind the scenes thing from, you know, you referenced Salina, Kansas, you have Missoula, Montana. I think the players would fond memories of the Holiday Inn across the street from the event center during Christmas break. Our fonder memories. But no, just too many to go into, but I'm just appreciative of the opportunity that Coach Barry gave me to be a CU buff.
Thank you, Shelley. And what I'm looking at on the screen is decades of greatness with Colorado women's basketball. And just so appreciative that we can have all of you Hall of Famers join us today. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a break, and I'm going to flip it back over to Pam, who's going to introduce our trivia. We've got 5 questions for this very knowledgeable audience. Can't wait to see who wins today. It's always kind of fun for us. Pam, I'll send it over to you, and then we're going to come back with Q&A for our guests. So if you have any questions for them, please put them in the chat, and I will get to the questions after trivia. Pam, take it away.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. Those are some fun stories to listen to. So as I just get this set up, I just entered a link in the chat. I know a lot of you have joined us before, so I know you all kind of know how this works. I'm going to go ahead and start presenting. Let me share my screen really quickly. So go ahead, click that link in the chat. It will bring up a trivia site called AHA Slides. You'll go ahead and enter a name. I believe you also can pick an emoji. If you're playing on your phone, go ahead and wait for some players to join here. And once we get that going, we will go ahead and get going with trivia. So I will give it a second for you to all log in.
Pam,
Yeah.
we don't see the link in the chat. Would you put that in there again for us, please?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. I sent it directly to Kimberly. The
I
perils
can't
of
play,
competing.
but thank you, Pam. Appreciate it.
You would think this many months in, it would be running smoothly. So I appreciate all of you, and thank you for letting me know. I'm not able to see the chat when I'm presenting, so thank you for letting me know about that. Okay, well, I'm going to give it a few seconds to populate everyone. Okay, it looks like we have 8 players in. We're going to go ahead, 9. Give it one more second. Okay, we're going to go ahead and start. As Kimberly said, we have 5 questions. Question 1. The Buffs won both games in the state of Washington last week, completing their first road sweep in how many years? You see some options below. There were some great games to be had last week in the state of Washington. Okay, get those answers in. All right, 8 years, correct. As Kimberly said, we do have some knowledgeable Buffs fans usually, so it's fun to see kind of the battle to see who can win. All right, question 2. Frida Foreman was held scoreless versus Washington State last week, but bounced back versus Washington with how many points? Your answer options are 17 points, 35 points, 10 points, or 5 points. We ran a great feature video at our last virtual pregame 2 weeks ago about Frida and some great play that she's been having down the stretch. Okay, it looks like everyone got that answer in quick. 17, correct. All right, question 3. As Big 8 Conference Player of the Year in 1994, Jamila Lang's scoring average was how many points per game? I went in and added a few questions about our special guests here because I thought it would be fun to have them in there. So 1994, what was her scoring average per game? No cheating if you know the answer, no shouting it out. 19.2. All right, we've got 3 of you with the right answer. Great job. Question 4. All right, Bridget, coming after you next. In 1989, Big 8 Player of the Year, Bridget Turner recorded how many double-doubles during her entire career? So this question is not just the 1989 season, her entire career, but of course wanted to call out that 1989 honor. Let's see who can get it right. 17. Nice work. All right, final question. The Buffs will not play again this season at the CU Event Center. What was their final home record? Final home record of the season. And of course, these questions were written before the cancellation of today's game. So, you know, they are not only are they not playing again at CU Event Center, but we're going to be rolling right into the Pac-12 tournament next week. So what was the Buffs' final home record? It looks like everyone has answered. 7-3, correct. All right, drum roll. Who are our winners? We have 4 of you. Amazing. So as we've done in the past, I will reach out to all 4 of you tomorrow to get some mailing information, and we'll send you a fun little prize. Thanks so much for playing. Kimberly, I'm going to throw it back to you.
Thank you, Pam. It doesn't surprise me we have 4 winners. I mean, look at this audience. They're very, very knowledgeable about Colorado women's basketball. So the next thing scheduled for you is we have a treat. I think you've all heard me say I have the greatest job in CU athletics because I'm the Alumni Club director and I get to work with all of our former athletes across all sports. So one of the fun things we do is we host annual reunions. Well, after a year like no other, the very last reunion that was hosted was last year with Colorado women's basketball. And we're going to share a highlight video from that event. And for those of you who played for CU or coached for CU, look for yourself in this video. Take it away, Pam.
It's been a wonderful experience. One of the best things is being able to see all my teammates. It's been 25 years since I've seen some of them, but to be able to come back to the family that we have and to just recollect all the memories that all of us have been through, and then to see where everyone is now. It's just an amazing experience to hear their stories, and we all can come back to everything. Our strong foundation was here on this court, and what Coach Barry and the entire staff, they instilled in us with dedication and with our commitment and with the relentless pursuit to be successful.
About 5 years later.
Oh, when Coach Barry took all of us on a tour today of the new facilities, it's just phenomenal. The upgrades, everything that has occurred, and it's really cool to know that all of us were a part of Colorado continuing to be more successful in renovating the facilities with the 3 gyms they have, the weight room, the girls' locker room. I'm so happy and proud that the girls can experience that, even though we didn't have it, but I'm glad they have it. It is an attribute to Colorado and where this program has gone from when we played to where they are now. And I'm so proud and happy and honored to be a part of the past, the present, and hopefully the future. They have everything they need. It's just getting in there, doing all the hard work, being committed, being competitive, and winning those games. And they can do it. They have everything they need.
If I were to share my favorite memories, it would definitely include working on that event with you. That was a labor of love, and Coach Barry and I worked on producing that event for about 6 months before we got to the event center, and it was a lot of fun. I would also like to recognize in the room is Jane Wall. Jane was our first women's athletic director for Colorado Athletics. Jane, we have an award named after Jane, the Jane Wall Legacy Award, that is presented to a female athlete or alumni athlete. And Jane was at our reunion as well. So welcome, Jane. I would like to shift now to your questions for our guests. And we have a couple in the chat, and I'm sure there's a lot more in your head. I'm looking at you, Tom Smith. So maybe you'll share one after we address what we've been presented. So this is a general question, and I'm open to anyone taking this. This question is, how and what can we do to keep our outstanding high school female basketball players from going to places like Stanford? Anybody want to address that?
Ooh, I'll try. I think that, you know, with what's happening in the world today with this diversity, inclusiveness, and stuff like that, I think just having that level of culture and diversity of family, I think that's going to be something that gets a lot of people. I know when I went to CU, one of the reasons I came to CU is because they had a diverse community of people that were going to support me, like Mad Dog and Theo Gregory and Doc Miles, and, you know, just being around people that I know that can support me even though I'm out of my community. That was something that probably was the number one thing on my list. So as a person of a minority, that's something that I think is critical.
And I totally agree. Definitely with diversity, I think, you know, seeing that facility, which I would love to be invited to walk through that because I haven't seen that. But with the upgrade that CU has done with their facilities to compete with some of these other schools, I think is very important. And definitely that diversity, you know, CU is right on top and, you know, keeping us up, you know, up top with other schools, with the rankings, you know, academically and collegiate. So I think that's important too.
Thank you. And I will be sure that you get to see a tour. I would love for Coach Barry to comment on that too. Would you like to, Ceal?
Well, the question was about Stanford in particular, who's just won their 10th Pac-12 title. When I recruited Bridget, we were not in first place. We were in last place. And so you have to have recruit players with the mentality and the confidence to help you change the program. We recruited Bridget and Jamilah with the idea, hey, you're going to take us to the promised land. We're not there yet. And same with Shelley. You know, we hadn't been to Elite Eight yet. And so we talked about what we're going to do. And problem is then you have to do it when they come because your credibility is on the line. But I think that's a tribute to Bridget and Jamilah, that they believed in themselves, that they believed they came to see you, they could help us change the culture.
Thank you.
I think them beating Stanford this year was a big deal. I mean, that's something they can drive with. I mean, be the number one team in the country. Yes. I mean, that's something we weren't able to accomplish. I can't stand Stanford. And we beat them. So that's something that they can push.
That was definitely a fabulous day. And if you look at their Twitter feed, they have the video from that game, beating Stanford, pinned to their Twitter feed. And I've watched it a few times. Fabulous. And Lindsay Luce, oh, we know, Jamilah. Yes, we do. That was a great day in Colorado women's basketball. Bridget, we have a question for you from Linda. And I was going to ask you this question too. So thank you, Linda. Bridget, what was it for the Globetrotters?
Oh, it was amazing. You know, I had the opportunity to travel all around the world, you know, traveling with 50 guys and being the only female. That was fun in itself, but it was also difficult. But I had a lot of brothers that kind of looked after me and took care of me. I've learned that, you know, kids are the same all over the world. Until this day, I enjoy working with children. It was just an opportunity that I was blessed to do. So it was great.
Thank you, and thank you for the question. Tom Smith, you're awfully quiet sitting there. As we all know, the women's game was just canceled just before we went on air here. And that is the 6th postponement for our women's team this year, which is very unfortunate. So we'll conclude the regular season with 10-9 overall record, 8-8 Pac-12 finish, and our seeding in the conference will be finalized at the end of regular season play today. Tom, I'm wondering if you have any questions, because generally with us, you'd be courtside working right now.
I know. I didn't know the game had been canceled, actually. Thank you for that. I do have a little trivia for Bridget, though. I refereed some of Bridget's games when she was a head coach at, I believe, St. Mary's.
Oh my God.
That's how old I am.
That was like my first coaching gig right out of college there.
Remember that. That was fun. No, I don't have any other questions, but thank you.
You're so welcome. Jane, I was wondering if there's anything you would like to share, a favorite memory of your time with Colorado basketball? As she unmutes herself.
There we go. Okay. It's good to see all you guys. And the fact that you have taken the program to the extent that it's gone is totally like, yes. It's like you, and Coach Barry, I guess a question I wanted to ask you about these two athletes is, what did you use as your drawing card how did you spot them, first of all, and then how did you draw them to come? You said you wanted to build a program and they bought into that. Anything specific about recruiting either one of these two?
A great question.
Oh,
Did you lose Ceal?
Go ahead and unmute yourself, Ceal.
Sorry about that. Bridget played, let's start with Bridget's recruitment. She played for the best club team in the state of Colorado, the Colorado Aspens, and they traveled all over the country. Everybody saw Bridget play. I remember Texas Tech, a lot of other schools were recruiting Bridget. It was not a gimme that she was going to come to CU. And we really had to convince her. We had quite a few losing seasons before Bridget came. So we had to convince her, well, not quite a few, I think a couple. We had to convince her that, we were going to turn things around. And I give Bridget's mom and dad, Sandra and Ernie, they supported me. They helped me, especially as we began to turn things around. But mostly, develop a relationship. I think Bridget developed a relationship with my assistant at that time, Beth Burns. We were pretty consistent, and we had recruited one of her teammates on the Aspens, Tracy Tripp. So that helped. When we went to Jamilah to recruit Jamilah, we had recruited Kansas City. Crystal Ford had come from Kansas City, and Missouri was really, really good back then. That All-American Joni Davis. And remember, Bridget, the first time we beat Missouri on the road? Oh my God, we danced in the shower. We were so excited. Everybody was all fired up. But I think for Jamilah too, to come out of state, I agree with you, Jamilah, Theo Gregory, Mad Dog, at that point, Bill Marolt had built a stronger support system for the athletics department. We were starting to have support in the weight room, support in the academic center, and some of those guys, that was really important. They valued women's basketball. This was late 80s. And they really valued what we were doing. And so if we said Sunday morning at 9 a.m., meet Jamila Lang and her parents, Ron and Berna, they're coming. They were there. They had a coat and tie on. They put their best foot forward. They helped us recruit Jamilah. It was very competitive. It wasn't easy, but they were open to the idea of coming and doing great things here.
That's fabulous. That's a lot of nice history too. The memories everyone has shared have just been amazing throughout the entire season. And let's see, we have a comment from the Bradleys. I hope there will be some virtual events, road games next year. Thoroughly have enjoyed this. Thank you all. Well, you're most welcome. And certainly we will be going back to our drawing board and keeping the fun rolling. This has been a wonderful opportunity to get to know season ticket holders, fans, donors, and to really have a nice opportunity to share some good conversation with our former athletes, coaching staff, and administrators. So thank you to everyone who has joined us. I don't see any other questions. I'm going to give it one last call for questions. If you want to unmute yourself and ask a question live. We don't tell any non-PG stories. That's the only rule we have in our virtual events. So try and keep it clean and wholesome for everybody. But if you have a question, go ahead. Let's see. Actually, the Utah game is canceled today for women's basketball, Mr. and Mrs. Bradley. There are some infection issues in the Utah team. So the women are not playing today. So you're not going to miss anything. So I guess we can all go cheer for your son, but thank you for the comments. Any last call for questions before I introduce what we're doing for the tournament play? All right, so seeing none, well, I just saw something, 1 second. Yes, volleyball is playing Oregon right now. In fact, my phone keeps lighting up with updates from Twitter, as it does for all of our sporting events. Last night was pretty amazing. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the men, but it was senior night, and they broadcast senior night on KOA, and I'm gonna call it, I was bawling. It was to listen to our student athletes thank their coaching staff and all of the basketball staff for getting them through the season, and a season like no other. It was very moving and pretty beautiful. So for the Pac-12 tournaments, from both for the women and the men, we are doing something a little different. We're not going to meet live on Zoom as we are right now, but we are going to film an opportunity to talk with several athletes at once, and then we're going to share that out via email and live stream on all of the social channels, on CU Buffs channels. So today, as a matter of fact, I am filming with 5 women who you will all know and love, including one of them right here, Miss Shelley Sheetz. We're getting the band back together. We're going to film with Shelley, Reagan Scott, Peebly, who is the head coach at TCU, Shelley Sheetz, who's the assistant coach for women's basketball at Denver University, DU, Lexi Snyder, Alex Slokar, and DC Thomas. So names everybody knows. Pam is sharing, thank you, Linda. We are going to have a conversation about Colorado women's basketball, share some stories and memories from their stellar years at CU. And then we're going to package that show and send it out by email and broadcast it on social, much like we did with the Colorado Football Alamo Bowl. The reason we're doing that is, as you know, with the Pac-12 tournaments, they go game to game to game. So we didn't want to assume that you could all join us for coffee if we have to play at 9 or 10 in the morning, but we decided we'd prepackage the show and send it out. So it'll be widely sent. You will receive an email with the link to the show, and you can watch it at your leisure or right before we play. That's all up to you. We're doing the same with the men's game. And on the men's side of the ball, we are honoring the 2012 men's team who won the Pac-12 tournament. Nate Tomlinson, Austin Paul, Carlin Brown, Sabatino Chen, and Ben Mills will be our guests. And we're going to send that out by email and broadcast by social right before the men play. So today is the end of women's basketball regular season. By tonight, we'll know when we play this week. So watch your email. You'll be getting that show that we're going to tape today. And I'm excited. How about you, Shelley? I think it's going to be fun. what a great group of women. And Shelley was instrumental in helping me put that panel together. So I want to thank you, Shelley, very much. So I want to just thank everyone for joining us today. Any final words, Jamila and Bridget? I will start with you, Jamila.
Well, I just want to say thank you again for inviting me and being a part of this amazing panel and talking to some of my former teammates and coaches and seeing one of my most favorite players of all time. I do want to say that I really do appreciate J.R. Payne. I appreciate her and her coaching staff because they have consistently kept the doors open to former players. And I think that is one of the things that's going to keep us close, keep them understanding what the culture of CU needs to look like. It needs to continue the pride that we all share when we talk about CU. And so I hope that doesn't stop. I hope that's something that consistently happens. And I think it's a good thing for the program. So thank you. Thank you, Kimberly, also for setting this up for us.
Absolutely, Jamila. You're most welcome. And the pride and tradition of the Colorado Buffaloes is something all of us embody in everything we do. So I appreciate that. And we'll make sure that JR hears your kind words. Bridget, what would you like to share before we close out today?
Well, thank you for having me. And I truly enjoyed this, just kind of reminiscing and going back because we've had great times at CU. And I also, I just met JR this summer. And just from that time meeting her, she is a lady of integrity, and I truly do appreciate her. And I do agree, keeping the past players connected to the present, I think is very important. And I also would like to encourage the team that just now that their game is canceled. So I would like to encourage them to continue to persevere because perseverance builds character. Character builds confident, and I think they demonstrated that this year with this difficult season of the pandemic. So I just, let them know that, champions move forward and that they just need to continue to move forward. And thank you for this opportunity.
You're so welcome, Bridget. Absolutely. Shelley, I'd like to come to you. Any words of encouragement for our team or any thoughts on the series we've done this year?
Yeah, this has been great.
First guest, so thank you for that.
Well, hey, I tried to put a bar somewhere in there, but these two have exceeded and raised the bar. Trust me. But Kimberly, I just want to thank you for all that you have done for the CU women's basketball program. Obviously, the alumni reunion last year was unbelievable. But Jay, Bridget, Coach Barry, the fans, you guys all alluded to just giving back and being supportive and keeping that culture going of CU women's basketball. Just really proud to be a Buff. Sometimes my day job gets in the way of actively participating and giving back. But when I can, I'm so appreciative to see such great faces and do what I can. And to shout out to JR and the squad this year. It has been challenging through COVID and all the protocols. You don't know if you're playing from one day to the next. And so I just wish them all the best at the Pac-12s. We'll be rooting for them. And just good luck to everybody. Stay safe and stay healthy and get your vaccine.
Yep.
Thank you, Shelley. We will be cheering for your team as well as you compete through your tournament this week also. And Coach Barry, we're going to close it out with you. Any thoughts on our current team and anything you'd like to say to your beloved players?
Well, first I want to say it's great to see everybody. I haven't seen, with no games and just all these familiar faces and fans from long ago. And it's always great to see my former players. They're like my children. I love them. And we go back and we all had our highs and lows, but at the end of the day, there's a bond there that you can never break. You just cannot break that bond. And so we love each other, and I love to see all three of you on. I just have so much respect for what JR has done. It's not been easy for her. And this year in particular, she shows the kind of resilience that you have to have at Division I because you get knocked down a lot. And I think the 12 has gone from a Pac-10 league that was probably 5th out of 5 Power 5 conferences to now a Pac-12 with schools like Arizona, Oregon, Oregon State, UCLA. It's not just a one-team conference anymore. And she kind of entered that conference at the time that the conference just escalated in national respect. And I have so much respect for her and what she's doing it. She's doing it the right way. And as Bridget mentioned, open arms to former players, former coaches to come back. All the things that you have done for the alumni. JR's been right there in lockstep with her office supporting that. And I do want to tell everybody, Kimberly, when she got the job a couple of years ago, she came and sat in my office and said, "What do you need?" And I said, "I need somebody there who values women's athletics and will support the women's programs as much as the men's programs when it comes to reunions and do it on the same level." So you hit it out of the park with that 1995 reunion. I got to tell you, we've got somebody there who gives the women's sport programs their due when it comes to pulling people together. So thank you, Kimberly.
You're so welcome. It is the honor of my life to do this job every single day. And I'll tell anyone who will listen that I have the best job in the department because it really does come from a place of joy. And even though sometimes I have to track you down from 3 old email addresses ago, I will find you. I will invite you and I will include you. So thank you for being willing, Jamila, Bridget, Shelley, Coach Barry. Thank you to my colleagues, Julianne and Pamela, and Brennan, who's not with us this morning, but has been an instrumental part of these events all season. Thank you to our season ticket holders and fans. Thank you to Lindsay Liu, who has been so supportive of helping us get the word out so that everyone can be here today. I'm just very grateful for all of you. And as always, we're going to end with our favorite song, the See You Fight song. You'll get to see some people you haven't seen for a while, the marching band, cheer, dance, chip. So I'm going to toss to you, Pamela, to close us out. And thank you very much. Go Buffs.
Thanks, everybody. Go Buffs.